Welcome back, folks, to Archetypical. Excited to have you guys joining us and listening in or watching. Today we have Satoshi, last name again?
Takekuma.
Takekuma, which I just discovered means...
Bamboo bear.
Bamboo bear.
It means bamboo bear.
In Japanese, right?
In Japanese, yep.
Are you first generation in America?
I am an immigrant. So I came to the United States when I was 6.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Do you speak Japanese?
Yeah, skoshi.
Oh.
A little bit, yeah. No, I can speak fairly fluent Japanese.
Have you felt like, totally off topic of what we're going to actually talk about, but I'm interested now. Have you felt like in the States, is there anywhere close to like real Japanese food in the States?
Yeah, if you go to like Japanese, where the Japanese Americans are in the States, you can find good Japanese food. Boston actually has a really good Japanese food scene. There's pockets in like the Chicago suburbs, probably all over California too. You can probably find super authentic
Love it.
Japanese food.
Definitely need to. You'll have to teach me to cook something good.
Yeah.
So we're gonna chat a little bit about Satoshi's kind of career here. I'm gonna have him give a quick intro, actually, if you want, of like, who are you and what's your role here at Archetype right now?
Sure. Yeah. So I am a senior manager at Archetype within the Analytics and Insight division, and my role kind of varies, but my career has kind of progressed from starting in like the BI realm of creating like just like raw like visual reporting for our clients, all the way to now I'm kind of working through more ETL, like solutions within Snowflake.
Nice. I definitely feel like you've been a Swiss Army knife for us in many ways.
Yeah, I try to. I try to have as much interest as I can.
Why do you think you've been so successful? Because there's some people that it's like they're BI experts, they're data science experts, and they don't really cross over into those other realms, or even sometimes necessarily can't. Why do you feel like you've been successful in being able to kind of be that Swiss Army knife a little bit in so many different areas?
Yeah, well, I think for me it's like a curiosity thing. So if I start something, like if we take BI for instance, I want to figure out like, oh, where does this data come from, or how is this data aggregated? And I think that those kind of natural curiosities just kind of lead me to try different things, which has always been kind of like I've been a little worried about it because like jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. So like I worry that I put myself in that kind of position sometimes, but overall it's like led to a pretty fun career at Archetype.
Do you feel like there's an area so far in kind of that larger data world that you enjoy the most?
I think for me, I would say that like all of this information or knowledge that I'm accruing through trying all these things, I'd like to get to a place where I'm like a trusted advisor, not so much doing the actual like implementation and like delivery, but more just like kind of the thought leadership around, how do we implement these systems in like a really nice and, like buttoned up way.
Yeah. 'Cause I mean, like, there's so many articles out there that talk about kind of digital transformations for companies that they nearly, I think it's like 80% or just below 80% end in failure, for whatever reason. There's so many reasons.
Yeah.
And I feel like that comes down to a lot of times the buttoned up flow of the actual project, or how their data strategy overall isn't where it needs to be.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So I'm curious on like career-wise, when did you first get into data consulting or this kind of consulting role?
Yeah. So it's a funny story. So I went to school for material science and engineering at the University of Illinois, and I wanted to pursue like a PhD track, so just like pure science. But I decided that that route wasn't necessarily for me. So I just interviewed at a bunch of different companies, and the people that picked me up was a company called Manhattan Associates that did supply chain software consulting. So the supply chain software consulting wasn't like the most sexy thing in the world, but it gave me like a foot in the door with working with like software systems and like back end like database.
So was it any different it wasn't like tied to like one software. Was it any software that was
So,
supply chain
so
related?
for my role there, it was like Manhattan would have this product that was customizable to a point where it would get most of these like large clients like 80% of the way there, but then that additional 20% was up to like the services division within like that software company, which is where I was in.
Gotcha.
So we would like write up custom modifications, write specs for them, like test them and deliver them to our clients, assist with like large go lives and stuff. And then my friend was working at Archetype at the time, but in the CPM side of the house.
Okay.
And he was like, well, there's an opening. Why don't you interview? And so I did. And I originally wanted to. I thought that I was interviewing for the CPM side, but then I think Andy ended up putting me into the analytics side, and I'm pretty happy about that decision.
Love it. Awesome. And I'm going to ask the question that I know there's plenty of people that are watching this that are thinking the same thing, and it's somewhat a dumb question, and I'm going to be the one to ask it.
Okay.
What exactly is material engineering?
Material science. So material science, I think, at the core, this is like kind of philosophical, but like it defines like where you are within like humanity. So like we gauge advances in material science, like the Iron Age or like the Stone Age, right?
Okay.
Like that's like what humans have been able to unlock, like in terms of like synthesizing materials. So like now I don't know what you'd put now at like maybe the nano age because we're doing stuff at like the nano scale. But it's the study of materials and how to create them.
Interesting. Do you feel like it sounds like that would have a major level of need for curiosity already kind of in there? Do you feel like that's kind of where that started for you, that desire to always want to know why, essentially?
No, yeah, that's a good question. I think like I've always been like curious, I guess. So like when I went to school, I changed my major like 3 times, like all within engineering. So I didn't really get like too far. But I think I was just like unsatisfied with whatever, and then they just told me that I couldn't switch anymore, so I had to stay there.
That's great.
Within that program, but no, it taught me a lot.
Yeah.
It taught me to be diligent. I did a lot of research on the side too, so it taught me, to be like organized and neat as much as possible. Gave me great foundations, I think, to become a consultant, even though I didn't know where I was going at the time.
I always love when kind of some degrees that may not line up exactly to where people end up, but the foundations, like you're saying, still like translate so well to skill sets that are needed in other roles.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think like if I hadn't done like the research with like the groups that I had did or like worked with, I don't think I'd be in this position where I think it's just all about experience and trying all these different things, and eventually you'll pick up skills on the way that'll take you where you want to go.
Absolutely. And now there was one thing I saw on your LinkedIn that I wanted to ask about.
Sure.
Was right after school, before your first consulting role, NASA?
Yeah. So that was a project that I worked on. So I was bartending during that whole time.
Oh, wow.
But it was kind of like 2 jobs at once, balancing that. But I was synthesizing some polymers and like you'd call it like a metastable state. So the idea was you could create a material that, given some sort of stimulus, it'll like disappear or like vanish into thin air. Essentially, it would start rapidly depolymerizing. So I learned how to like make that material, and then I tested like the mechanical components of the mechanical properties of that material.
So did you ever say like I was a NASA engineer, or like I worked for NASA at that time?
Yeah, I guess it was like a grant from a bunch of different companies and organizations, and NASA being like the main one. So I guess I worked for NASA in a way. Yeah.
In a way, it was attached. You were saying bartender at night, NASA.
Bartender at night. Yeah.
Love it. So you've been with Archetype now, I think coming up on 4 years almost.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Awesome.
About
What would you say has been your favorite part about working at Archetype?
I think Archetype has offered me a ton of flexibility in like the work that I've been able to participate in. They haven't put me into like a box or anything like that. They if I express interest in doing something, they do a good job trying to make that happen, which I think has been really great for my career here too. Like I started here as I think just at a business analyst level, so I leveled up here quite a bit
Yeah.
over the times, and I just am thankful for like all the opportunity that
No,
Archetype provided for me.
it's awesome. I know I've talked to so many people, and I mean, I've only been here a couple of years now, and the amount I've heard of so many senior folks who are like, "Oh, like we want Satoshi on this project, or we got to get Satoshi for this, or I know Satoshi can do that," has been so profound. It's just everywhere I hear it.
Oh,
So
that's
you're
sweet.
crushing it. Keep it up.
Oh, thanks, Mitchell. Yeah, no, I think it's just like I don't know. I've gotten to a point where I'm like, if I fail, I think I'll still be able to, get back up.
I love it. I love it. So looking back over your career so far, is there anything you would tell your college self of like, do
Oh,
this differently?
yeah. Well, I mean, I think if
Loaded question.
yeah. I mean, if I were like honest, I'd probably tell myself to either go into like computer science or computer like engineering.
Yeah.
But like outside of that, I don't think I have a whole lot of regrets. Like I think the whole career path to get here has been so much fun,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see what happens next.
I love it. What do you think is next, kind of in general, for Satoshi?
I think like what I was saying. I think professionally, I want to keep moving up like the stream of data. So I kind of started at like the business level of like, I have this report in this system, but I want it in Power BI or Tableau. Make that happen. So like I'd work that, but as projects have come my way, I've kind of slowly gone up like the flow of data. So I think the next thing that I want to do is I guess just like more data modeling and getting more robust knowledge about data modeling in general within our stack.
I love it. Well, keep up the great work, obviously, and I know that we'll have plenty more for you to add to that Swiss Army knife if as you want to. But I appreciate you coming on and chatting.
Absolutely.
And we'll definitely do this again more and more. But thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you.